Hello and welcome to JUMPSCARE, quick reviews of short horror games. I play a lot of indie horror games over on my other channel. I just find it super fun to see what small teams and single developers with limited resources yet unlimited imaginations can do. And today we're dealing with one of the scariest things known to man. One of the worst things that can happen to art and to free expression. We're dealing with censorship. In case you somehow haven't heard, an Australian group called Collective Shout recently pressured MasterCard and Visa into a quite frankly disgusting act of overreach, cracking down on their incredibly vaguely defined ideas of problematic content, which has resulted in many games being pulled from storefronts such as itch.io and Steam for fear of payment processors rescinding their services otherwise. One of the many victims of this is Vile Exhumed by Final Girl Games, pulled from Steam just days before it was to be released, only to then be released for free via the distributor DreadXP in an act of protest. So what exactly does the game do that brought on this whole rigmarole? Well, let's find out. Vile Exhumed starts not with an opening narration or a spooky cutscene, but with the quiet hum of an old computer starting up. This is what you're presented with. A menu, some websites, and total freedom to explore as you wish. Once you do a little bit of snooping, you soon find out that the computer seems to belong to a guy named Sean who likes to collect trashy underground horror movies. Which, yes, may seem like an odd hobby to some, but nothing worth getting up in arms over. As you dig, it becomes clear that Sean is a particularly big fan of a horror porn actress with the stage name Candy Corpse, who appears to have taken a sudden sabbatical from her work and is now nowhere to be found. And now it's up to you, using little more than context clues from Sean's files, to dig up info on where exactly she might have gone. And, well, that's it! That's the game! This screen right here, the one you're looking at right now, this is what you get. You browse websites, you read emails and chat logs, and you try to dig deeper and find more info that can lead you further down the rabbit hole. You don't leave your seat, you're not downloading a cursed game, you won't constantly be haunted by spooky glitches, there are no demons hiding in the hard drive, there's just you, the information you can dig up, and the slow realization of a very real kind of horror. Who exactly are you? Why are you digging through Sean's computer? Why are you so concerned with Candy Corpse's whereabouts? That's not really important. The search for knowledge is. That's what makes this a little difficult to review as a game exactly, because it's honestly a little more like a research project, if a very creepy one. Reading through all this stuff and putting together the threads you find is the real meat of the game, and many of the conversations and details you find feel very real, for better or for worse. And in that regard, it works perfectly well. The addition of a notepad to write down information is especially welcome, so you don't have to constantly go back and dig up the same info again if you spot something that looks important. But that's about the extent of how gamified this is. In essence, Vile Exhumed is a linear, short and sweet mystery. And there really isn't much extra stuff to dig up even if you're being extra thorough, so the game is kind of a one and done deal. In fact, my main gripe with the game is that a few things that feel like they should be important end up not really being so, at least not in a way I was able to discover. They seem to just be there as curious little additions, which is fine, but mildly disappointing. But the story being told here is one that unfortunately some people actually do experience. And that is what makes the story worth telling and cements the censorship this has been subject to as a horrible act. Because the question remains, does Vile Exhumed really deserve the vitriol it's apparently getting from payment processors? Does it actually live up to its title enough to deserve being pulled from storefronts? No, not even close, dude! Even if you're sensitive to the subject matter tackled here, most of the strong stuff is presented in text. Unpleasant to read text, yes, but text all the same. And while there are pictures, they're often so bitcrunched, zoomed in and already mildly censored that it veers more into being surreal than explicit. The horror lies in the vibes you get as you dig deeper into somebody's personal files, not in attempting to shock you with graphic imagery. Vile deserves to be played. Not just because it's a fine little mystery game, and not just because its themes are relevant, but to send a message to payment processors that they do not, should not, and will never truly have the authority to decide what art you as a consumer get to engage with, no matter how objectionable a loud bunch of entitled Australian soccer moms may believe it is. Thankfully, like I mentioned, Final Girl Games has made the game available completely for free in protest, leaving players the option to support the developer via donations, 50% of which go to a charity of the developer's choice that befits the game's themes. So, if you're at all curious about the game, have the disposable income to donate, or simply want to support them, I urge you to go do so right now. If you'd like, you can watch my playthrough of the game via a link in the description or the card in the corner of this video, although I do urge you to go play the game yourself first and show the developer some love. Lord knows they deserve it. And while you're down there, why don't you leave a comment about some of your favorite horror games, click the like button and subscribe to the channel for more short spooks in the future. See you there folks, and bye bye.